Okay, we are live, waiting for America. Good morning from the Philippines. It's about 10:05 a.m. It's a beautiful day out here. It's always warm in the Philippines. Welcome, everybody. So there's my. We're good to go. We'll kill that and be on our way. So last Wednesday, it's Wednesday morning here. Last week I promised a weekly live stream, so here we go. And there's the first one in. Hey Brett, nice to see you. It's good to see an old friend. Brett used to do live streams. I don't know if he still does. I haven't seen you in a little bit, Brett. That's what happens. We lose touch with people that we saw a lot of because this is year 20. When did I start? 2021. This is year 5. So things happen. I'm still happily married to Norma. I don't see that changing at all. Anyway, I'm getting off my mental topic. Philippines broadcast to the USA and Canada, hoping to see some. There's an American right there. Let me know what country you're coming in from, and don't forget to smash that like button, guys. I'm looking for subscribers. Daniel Berry, number 2. Thanks for coming in. Awesome. So I'm not here to really count how many are watching or anything like that. I just want to let you know that I'm specializing in walking tour videos featuring jeepneys and the Filipino taxi called the tricycle. It is most of them are Kawasaki's, not all. The smaller bikes attached with a sidecar attached to it, and a couple of people can fit inside the car cab, and then somebody can sit on with the driver and on the back of the motorcycle. It's always a 2-seater. And they're very cheap. It's the way to go when there's nowhere to park especially in the center of cities. And very cheap. It's fun too because you're out in the air. It's never cold here, and so that's what it is here. And I get a lot of that in my walking tour video. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you for coming in, guys. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go portrait or landscape, but we don't have the full package here, so sorry about that. I did years ago, but I decided to get away from that. For whatever reason, we're still trying to grow here. With still haven't hit 20,000 subscribers. I seem to have hit a road bump. So anyway, I got a pinned message, and then I have a poll. So the pinned message is, let me know what country you're in, and the poll is, will you please hit the like and subscribe before you leave? Thank you so much. We have 2 that said yes to that so far. So ask me some questions if you want. Make the live stream get active. Thanks for coming in. Let me know what country you're Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm still putting down some coffee. Let me know what country you're watching from. That's always fun to know that. So YouTube is worldwide, but sometimes we get crunched into a corner, which is our own country that we're broadcasting from, and I'm just trying to figure that out. So let me know, guys. We get a good number watching now. It's changing rapidly, so I can't really say a number. It's different. So thank you, guys. I used to do this. We used to do years ago. We did the collaboration with 4 of us up here, and different things going on, and we had different changing topics. But I realized the best live streams are to talk about your own niche and what you're doing. And a lot of the smaller streamers, they feature other growing live streamers, and I don't know about that. I don't know how that works. I know that the things they're doing, but I don't know if that really works to help anyone grow. That's what I don't know. It's not a good idea to buy those subscribers where people are creating hundreds of ninjas or thousands, and then they're logging in to subscribe to you, and they'll never watch your videos. And if you don't have videos, you don't need to do that. You need to make videos, which is what I'm trying to do. I had over 4,000 videos, but I cut about 300 of them out yesterday. The ones that were not doing any good. Creators, you love your own videos. That's what I love, my own videos. Whatever I have in the video, I love it. But if no one's engaging with it, that means it's no good, I guess. Or something didn't work well for it. There's my friend Marty right there. Hey, Marty, how are you doing? Sorry I cut that right out, but I just wanted to flash that up there real quick. Give me 1 second. I get this house pet here. It's a Siamese cat, and she's chasing one of her new toys. And it's in her mouth. She was at my feet, so it distracted me a little bit. Anyway, hey, guess what? Marty's good. Whitey's here. That's a rarity these days. She doesn't care. I mean, she cares about me, but doesn't care about the stream or the show. Not that I can notice. And Nightbot is working. I wasn't sure if I had that connected. I wasn't even thinking about that, but it is working. It takes a couple of minutes for Nightbot to kick in. So if you say certain words, it'll kick in, but it doesn't happen right away. I think it waits like 5 minutes. 5 or 6 minutes it waits. I don't know if this, who knows? Technology changes all the time. So if I knew something once, it doesn't mean it's still true. It just doesn't. So don't be afraid to chat, guys. If you're not logged in, it's good that you're watching, but I don't know for sure if that's the reason you're not chatting. But I love chatters. Chat is free. Subscribing is free too. That's what I'm looking for, subscribers. But you have to be logged in as with a YouTube account for that. And making a YouTube account is free. I think it takes a couple of minutes to do that, though. But don't worry, I'll be here for more than 2 or 3 minutes. So my channel, we used to sit here in my regular length videos, not the live streams, but the regular videos. Norma and I sat here and did a little number of those about a year or two ago. But that's not what we feature anymore. I'm featuring the walking tour videos where not much talk. There's some talk, but we're not really announcing what we're doing. We're just point of view. Videos are up close, and a lot of it includes traffic. But sometimes it's hidden places too. We're not right in the city. Occasionally I go into the city and get some video, but that gets harder and harder as you age. Guys, I'm almost 100. I'll let you in on a little secret. No more saying, stop saying hello. If you say hello once, don't say it twice. Oh, she's saying it to Marty. Okay. Marty's channel blew up. I hope you're having good luck with that. I know. I said before that subscribers don't watch videos, and you're hoping that sometimes they do. But when I subscribe to people, I'm interested in what they're doing, and then I'll watch another video, and another, and another. So I'll watch 3 or 4. Sometimes I'll go in and I'll do that quickly. But then as time goes by, I don't go in so often. It kind of gets old, and then I'm on to something else. So I think that's what people do. They don't necessarily unsubscribe. It's just, they run out of interest. I've seen a lot of that. I'm going to move on. They don't even think of it. They just do it. So there's no hard feelings. They'll tell people you're a good channel, but they don't come in all the time. I don't blame them because I do the same thing. So YouTube's a funny place. I used to say things that, they're not the good guys and all this. They're in business to make money. I was an airport hotel controller. I understand that. How long long have we been live? 10 minutes? That number just changed. I'm looking at a number up there, and it's like going wild. But it's changing, forever changing. But YouTube, I don't know if YouTube uses ninjas on some streams to see what's going on. But there was a time, I should say a lot of times, I would criticize YouTube. And the big companies should be criticized. David's Island Life is in here. Good to see you, David. Thanks for stopping by. I got a pin message and I got a poll, a yes or no poll. So I appreciate you guys taking part in that. But not all the viewers, I think, are logged in, and they won't be able to tell me that either. If you could log in, and I would appreciate that you do that. Sometimes when I'm speaking English and I speaking too fast, in the Filipino will say nosebleed, and that means that your English is too pure or too quick, and they can't really follow you. Filipinos speak English, some better than others, but it doesn't mean they understand a New Yorker or a Bostonian or someone from Louisiana or wherever you're from. You get the country accent, maybe they don't understand that. I don't know. But the English they do speak is quite perfect. Like, I am on the computer. They'll talk like that. But sometimes they'll mix in some Filipino verbs and adverbs, things like they'll fill that in with the English words. So I got to get my head into Filipino. I can't mix. I have to have my head into one or the other. I can't just give you Filipino that I know. If Norma's talking to me, I can talk back to her in a little bit of Filipino. It's not perfectly fluent, but for some reason it works with the family. My Filipino kicks in a little bit. It's funny. It's funny that way. So I understand. If they talk too fast, it just goes right by me, and I'm like, I can't hear what you're saying. But hindi ko alam. I don't know. Pakiulit po. Dan. Stuff like that. I can. But anyway, if the Filipinos are listening, they love it when you stick some Filipino words in there. They like that. They can follow you. Even if it's just a word here and there to catch them, they'll follow along. It's like kids when the grown-ups are talking, right? The kids don't even pay attention to it. And they're standing right there. They're clinging to their mom. They're almost 2, and then when the parents are talking, the kid hears it, but he doesn't know what you're talking about. But if you look down with the kid, it's like, okay, baby, we eat now. You dumb it down for them. You make it simple, and then they follow you. Are you teasing your kuya? Kuya mo. And Taglish. Yeah, Taglish. When I first got here, they said, we're speaking Taglish. And I'm like, yeah, I hear English words, but I'm really not sure what you guys are. I'm not following along exactly. Are you? So what I would do is I would listen and I would hear a word I'm familiar with, and then I would say, are you talking about going into Manila today? Yes. That's what they would. So, and then I would be a part of the conversation a little bit. So you got it. But if people are just talking on and on and on nonstop, especially if there's a room, several people in the room, it's hard to pick up everything that's being said. Especially when I first got here doing live streams every day, I wasn't spending time in the Philippines with Filipinos. So I had to put a stop to that. That's the reason. I know there was an issue that was going on, but that wasn't really the decision had already been made when that happened. So that wasn't really, it was almost simultaneous. So it appeared that that was the reason, and it wasn't. Actually, it was not the reason, because I had put up a video with that guy in it like 2 days, 3 days later. And the reason I unlisted it, if you're subscribed, you can go into my unlisted videos and see them if you subscribe or if you're already subscribed. But I think there's a way to do that. I forget because things change, so it's hard to follow everything. It's there somewhere. But I unlisted about 300 or 400 videos yesterday because they didn't do well. So I took them out of the way so that on my homepage, my selected videos don't include those. So it looks better. It looks better that way. If you don't keep tweaking your channel, it will be terrible. It's weird the way YouTube's just making so many changes now. That's neither good nor bad. You just have to stay on top of it. So they say they're trying to help us. Help me, help you is what they're saying. So I don't always go for the YouTube events, the creator events, and all that stuff. I'm not in the United States. I can't do that. So it's difficult to just go jump in there and let them guide me that way, take me by the hand. I'm not that type of guy. What did we do yesterday? I forget. I guess we didn't go out. We're having car trouble. We need a new battery. I thought this car's running good for an old car. It's running very good, and then the battery died. You get a jump start, and then it doesn't start the next day. You need a new battery. So anyway, that's my problem, not yours. What else do I got? Hey guys, give me something to talk about now. Come on, don't be afraid to say hi. I'm flexible. It doesn't have to just be about my channel. It can be about yours. Tell me how long you've been on YouTube. If you're signed in, if you're not signed in, you can't chat. You got to sign in, log in. If you have a login, do that. I don't know why. I suspect that a lot of people watch YouTube as a guest, or just if it's their own computer. You don't have to log in to watch YouTube. So that's what I'm suspecting. They don't want to join the chat for whatever reason, which means they won't like and subscribe either. 9 years. This is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is my 5th year, really. Because I was watching YouTube in my first year, like into the live streams, but I remember I was trying to learn guitar and practicing the scales and chords and stuff like that. But I wasn't on YouTube doing that. There was maybe a couple of videos that I was putting up like once or twice a month, but not really much to do with that. So then I realized, you know what? No one really wants to see a beginner learning how to play guitar. But I did have, no, I'm not going to lie. I did put up a few pieces that I thought were pretty good. And there's also like 3 or 4 with 1,000 views that I left those up there also. But I took a lot. Like I said, I took 400. Actually, they were just live streams. I took 400 live streams out. I made them private. If you're subscribed, you can. I think there's a way to see those. I just put on supers and thanks. Oh, you mean in the comments? Super chats and super thanks. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess you got to do that. Those are the guys that are spending a little more time watching. Good morning, David's Island Line. Norma's here somewhere, but she's not on screen today. I don't think she's going to sit here. We don't have the sound card and mic anymore. The J mic. We have it, but it's not working. So it lasted a few years. I don't know what happened to it. I'm not sure what's wrong. But I tried it a couple of different ways, and it just... Computer hardware and software is a very fickle thing, especially when like StreamYard's making a lot of changes. YouTube's making a lot of changes also. Len Whistle's here. Thank you for coming in, Len. Good friend of mine. Thank you, Lenny. Thanks for stopping by. Lenny and Brett and everybody else, Marty's, all of you guys. I appreciate you all. Let me see. I love this new video I got here. This is the best part of this computer. That and the SD sound card. This little sound card slot that when I got this GoPro, it lets me put the sound. Where's the logo? I just want to show the logo here. There it is, the GoPro logo. I really have it, guys. I really have it. I thought it's the same camera, basically, as the iPhone that I have. So I don't really need it. And I already invested in the iPhone, so why would I spend another whatever hundreds of dollars on the GoPro? I thought I'll just be duplicating stuff. But then I realized my camera falls to an extent, yes, to some point. I hope that light's kind of soft and it's not too bright. It's not creating shadows, I don't think, because I got the shadow light on. I get the above light, I get the side shadow light, and it's bright outside, so there's no direct sun coming in or anything like that. So the GoPro, when you move side to side, when you stop walking and you turn, it kind of turns in 3D like a bird's eye view. It doesn't, I don't know how that works. But when you do it with the iPhone, you can't follow what's put into the picture. I don't know, it doesn't focus. And it turns like flat. But with the GoPro, it kind of, I guess it revolves like a rotary or something. I don't know exactly the technology, what they call that, but I like it better. It's a better feature, I think. I know nothing, but I think for sure that's, to some effect, that's what it's doing. So, and when you're walking, it's better when you're walking. Although the iPhone was good, I was the type that like to stop and look, and I know everyone's tempted to do that, look side to side. If you don't have the GoPro, it doesn't look the same. Marty, I'm going to tell you something about the GoPro. When it was first handed to me, I said, it's right here. It's got a smaller, like here's the selfie stick for the iPhone. This is, no, I made it short. So when I do this, it goes out. And then when I do this, it goes farther. And then when I do this, it goes farther. This is perfect when you're doing videos in the car, because we have a center. The seat's not a bench. It's the front seats are separated. So there's an armrest for the driver or whoever wants to use it in front. And I put this part, and this has a clicker. I got criticism in the United States for having a clicker here. This is Bluetooth to start your video and stop your video. And it even has a volume button. I don't know how that works, but that's there too. But the Bluetooth works. And you can jam this part right in between the seat and the seat rep, the armrest. And then you can put out the lengths to the exact distance you need to press your camera against the windshield. And you have rubber here and here and here. It touches the windshield. Now, if your car's vibrating, you need the microfiber cloth. I have the perfect one because it's big and I can fold it up and it's like a bumper and there's no vibration. Even though our car has a lot of vibration, but you don't see it in the camera. And you have it right up against the windshield and you got this, it's like a hard rubber, almost like a plastic. And it's a buffer. And you don't see the dashboard, you just see what's in front of the car. And if you line it up just right, you don't see the hood of the car either, which makes it perfect. It's perfect for the iPhone when you're driving. We get some good video that way. So some of that is interesting, I believe. But everything else, we got the GoPro. Now, when you hold it, you can do this or that. But what I did was I asked ChatGPT to get me all the instructions for the GoPro Black 7. He gave me like 4 pages, but then it also directed me to the instruction manual, which I also downloaded. And I said, well, I can't read all this. It's too much to read. But what I did was, it's Geese here. Awesome. Mega love shout out. So we were talking about the GoPro. So, and the differences between the GoPro with the short. Now, this also stretches out, but not very. 1, 2, 3. So there's also 3 little pumps here. But I just use it like this. And then if I put my elbow down to my side, I can walk. You can't see me, but I can walk like this. And I know just by looking down, that's a 90-degree angle. And it's got a very wide picture screen. It's awesome. The only thing it is, the screen's much smaller and it's harder to see, but I know from doing a few videos, it gets everything I need in the video. It's unbelievable. So I did the quick instructions to get started. I need a Filipino haircut. My hair's all over the place. So I did the quick instructions to get to know Pro and get started. And then I went in bit by bit. I had more questions, and so now I've read it all. So it took a few days to do that, but one day at a time. I wasn't going to read it all day long, but I read a little bit at a time. And then when I had something difficult on my walk while I was videotaping, I went back home and I think, okay, let me dig in and see if I can figure out this problem as well. So I had a couple of little problems. Not problems, but just issues that I couldn't deal with while I was on the walk. So I went back home and then I looked at some more. And so after like 4 or 5 days, I pretty much got to know my GoPro. It does a lot. It does a lot of things. It's got 2 batteries. So in the charger, this is the charger right here, the GoPro charger. 1 battery is still here. Now, this is secondhand. This is used. So my stepdaughter gave me this. They weren't using it much because I had all their videos on there and it wasn't much, but that's why they gave it to me, because they weren't using it and they figured, well, he's doing walking tours, maybe he might like this. So the batteries are fully charged, but then when I take it out, they begin to die. Not die, but they lose their power. But it still gives you a couple of hours. So, because it tells you right on the screen, you have 2 hours and 48 minutes left. And I'm like, okay. So, but it's down a lot. So these are powerful batteries. I don't really need new batteries yet because I can always bring a second battery on a walk. I'm not going to walk for 3 or 4 hours. I usually just walk for maybe an hour, if that. Because I'm an old guy. I'm like 100. I'll be... let you in on a secret. I'm 97. I'm just kidding. But I'm closer to 100 than 50. Is that true? No, it's not true. I'm closer to 100 than like 40. That's horrible. It's horrible. Is that true? No. No, that's not true. But it seems that way. My mother just turned 90. She's still ticking. There's a picture of her and one of her older sisters because she's from a large family. So they're all gone now. Even her younger, there's 2 younger sisters. Are there any boys? And there's 1 boy. He's also younger. So 2 younger sisters and a brother that are still with us. So 4 of them out of 14 are still with us. My mother's 90. Dick Fend, I thought he was already 100. I knew, he was 99. That's right. Dick Van Dyke turns 100 next month. I wonder how fun that is, though, because I know I'm having fun, but I'm not doing the things I used to do. But I still remember doing them. Now, two of my nephews, they're like 8 and 10. A couple of months ago, I said, "You guys want to play catch?" And they're small boys, so we weren't throwing hard. I was just because Filipinos, they're not into baseball like Americans are. They know baseball and they play, but they're not like as good. When I was 9 years old, I was really playing baseball. So, but anyway, they can throw and catch. But it was just a light toss, and I played for like 15 minutes. There's no pain, no difficulty, no struggle, no nothing. 2 days later, I get this pain in my back and on my right side, all the way across. Yeah, because I'm right-handed. And it took like a week, and I still had pain. And I'm like, and then it finally went away after like 2 weeks, and I'm like, and then it happened again. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I used to be able to throw the ball. One guy, because I was in my city, baseball was big, softball was big, so there was a lot of leagues. And a guy my age said to me, we were about in our late 30s, he said, 30s, can you imagine that? He said to me, "Jay, you're not the greatest player in this league, but I've been on several teams. And even when I match you up against the good players, like guys that can hit home runs and stuff like that, you're the steadiest because you can hit." I wasn't a big slugging. When I tried to hit the ball deep, I would fly out or line out, to the either left field or center field. So, but when I tried to just get it over the infield, I had a high batting average. No brag, just fact. Because I played a lot. So he goes, "You're the steadiest guy I ever saw. Steadiest player." Because I played shortstop. And then I moved over to third base, so one of our new guys could play shortstop because he was a big slugger, and we were in a fast pitch league. He struggled at the plate. He did hit a little bit, but he wasn't hitting the home runs he was talking about, and because he was in a slower pitch league and he was able to hit home runs. So we were a step up. The pitching, the opposition pitching was, and our pitching was pretty good too. Good pitching gets good hitters out. And that was true for him and me too. So we had an older guy. He was 56, and I didn't see him for 2 years. And then finally we're playing a team, and there he is pitching. And I'm like, "Hey, Jack." So he was like my uncle or my father. I said, "It's good to see you." And he was the starting pitcher. He used to be our relief pitcher. Like he would come in, 7 innings was the game. In softball, it's 7 innings. So he would come in and pitch the 6th and 7th. And he had a good fastball. But that was enough of a change to, he would get through 1 inning, and then it would just be 1 more inning, and we could win some games. And he not only did he get Alex out, he got me out. My first time, I right down the middle, and I saw the dot on the pitch, which means it's a slider. And I went, "I'm just gonna nice easy swing, and I'll drive it to center field. I'll get at least a base hit here." And I completely missed it. He struck me out, and I went, "You gotta be shitting me." He had to be 58 at that time because it had been so 56, maybe even 59 or 60. I think it was. So here's a 60-year-old guy throwing sliders. So, but once you get like that pain in your back, you can't throw the ball. Dick Van Dyke, yep. They say as long as you're alive, you still got it. You got it until you're gone. What? Wait a minute. So why is it? I don't watch much baseball anymore, but I did watch the championship game. Actually, I didn't watch the whole game. I watched like the last 2 innings of Game 7. and some highlights of, I think it was game 5, a couple of the games I watched. But anyway, I was big into baseball when I was younger. I played a lot. So I'm led to believe that they already have backup, electronic backup calling on pitches. That's why they have the strike zone in there. There's too much video in the game. Now, I'm not against using electronics. I'm against sticking it on the screen. But people say, well, I want to see it. I want to see everything live. So then it looks like a video game. And that's what people are some people don't like that. 2 strike call challenges. So if they have video backup, is that what they're going to use when you make a challenge? Well, we're going to go to the backup, and they already saw it. It's already there. I just don't know what, just to please everyone. Well, we'll let you do that. It's already in place, so we'll just let you call. We'll just let you ask for it. 2 strike call challenges. Don't use it in the first inning. Unless you get the bases loaded, nobody out, and it's like, or 2 outs. It's like, strike be called. I don't like that. That happened to the Red Sox, the Boston Red Sox, in the 1986 World Series against the New York Mets. If the Red Sox had a challenge, they would have won the challenge and they would have been champs. That's all I'm going to say about that. But then again, it's tricky when you're watching on TV. It's standard TV. So, I mean, we had a good standard TV, but still, you just don't know. But the replays I saw, it was like, that's not a strike. They already have that in place. It's already been for years now. So I've watched less and less. I'm in the Philippines now. We don't get live baseball. Actually, there is, but it's, I'm not following anymore because it's all the same. There's active, they get active players. It's like, he's the 100th greatest player of all time. Baseball's been going on for over 100 years. Almost 150 years, right? And you get an active guy, he's the greatest of all time, really. Why? Because of Metro stats, really? The metrics are just expanding and expanding, and they're just repeating other metrics. It's like that's what they're doing. Because you realize these geeks that can't play baseball, like involved in statistics. It's like baseball is in low. The writers and the people that are associated with statisticians and all that stuff, they love their metrics. It's like, and they think it's making the game better, but they didn't get dirt on their chest sliding into home plate or second base. So you can't take that away. They got all these rules now, and unwritten rules. There's a sports writer, talk show host or co-host in Boston. He's, he made his name in the newspapers calling himself Maz by the numbers, numbers guy. Oh, this number means that he, it was like silly. It was for little boys. But I was a little boy and I didn't like it. Women had pro baseball during World War II. There was a movie about it called, I forgot the name of the movie. A League of Her Own, I think. A League of Their Own was the name of the movie, I think. It starred, who's the fat chick? Rosie O'Donnell, I think, was in it, or one of those. And I forget who the guy was. Tom Hanks. It might have been Tom Hanks and Rosie O'Donnell. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I was actually at the Hall of Fame the next year after the movie. I think it was the next year after the movie, or very soon after the movie. I went to the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, and they have a room dedicated to the Women's League, which lasted about 2 or 3 years, I think. That was when they had the famous line, "There's no crying in baseball." When the Red Sox lost that World Series against the New York Mets, because of a couple of bad calls and just the ball bounced New York's way. Wade Boggs was on the sidelines in front of the first base dugout saying to the fans, "Believe, believe." believe they didn't win. They lost Game 7. I mean, it went all the way, just like Toronto this year. But the only reason to start a league like that, women's pro baseball, the only one reason to do that would be because people want to pay to watch. Who wants to go pay to watch that? If they do, then, because I know they've had like more than one NBA women's basketball league. Oh, the bad boy. Yeah, I don't know who cried, but he said there's no crying. But anyway, after the 1986 World Series was over, the cameras went into the losing team's dugout, not the winners. You saw the winners freaking out on the field. Yes, they did that. They're jumping up and down. This is also, they always do that. But then, like after minute 1 or 2, they go over. Now, 1 or 2 minutes have gone by, maybe more, maybe less. The cameras kind of like make their way over there, and then they slowly zoom in, and you see grown men crying. I've seen it in both leagues, several teams, and I don't even watch all the time, but they cry. I saw Kobe Bryant cry when he lost. When they lost to Detroit, he was crying. And that was 1984, I think. No, 04. 2004, I think. They had that tough Detroit team, and Kobe cried. And they cry when they lose. Now, I say to myself, you should cry when you win. Like Kevin Garnett, I think, cried when the Celtics won, when they beat the Lakers. Or he was trying not to cry because he went, they had the camera and mic on him, and he's like, I'm trying to think of what he said because I wasn't planning on saying this. Anything is possible! And he just kept doing that. And it's like, yep, anything is possible. Like, nobody wants to think that Drake May might go all the way. Nobody wants to fucking think that. Drake May could go all the way. There's nothing that we've seen that now, it won't be strictly because of Drake May. Every time Tom Brady won a title, he had receivers that could get open. He had an offensive coordinator who could figure out problems. Like, it wasn't working against Kansas City in the AFC title game in 2018. It was always 3rd and 10. And then, so it wasn't just Tom Brady. In the 2018 Super Bowl, there was no throwing touchdowns by either quarterback. That was the best defensive matchup ever. They talk about the 85 Bears with, I don't even know what they called them for a nickname. Greatest defense ever. But the greatest defensive matchup was 2018, the lowest scoring game in the Super Bowl. There were no Tom Brady throwing touchdowns. He threw probably 2 great passes in the game, and one was to Gronk down the left sidelines, I think. So you have to credit Rob Gronkowski and Josh McDaniels for that. You have to credit Bill Belichick for the scheme on defense, and Jason McCourty for the play on defense. It's not just Tom Brady. That is true. You're doing your homework. I hope you're not looking this up, as that's fine. It doesn't matter. When Tom Brady had a great wide receiver, they did not win a Super Bowl, but it wasn't Randy Moss's fault. Brady threw a touchdown to Moss after the 2-minute warning to take the lead. It was they didn't have a good enough defense to put the Giants away. And then the Giants still needed a lucky play. They probably had, in Super Bowls, they had two of the luckiest plays ever. The helmet catch, and, well, he had the catch to Manningham, who wasn't a great wide receiver, but he made a fantastic catch. So, and then all they do is brag about how great Manning, I forgot his first, Eli Manning, how great he was as a quarterback. He was an average quarterback. Randy Moss. So you can't blame Moss or Brady for that. They just didn't have the players on defense. So shit happens. I always hear people say, we're getting our guys back. We're getting our guys back. That's part of the game. That's part of the game. That's a major part of the game. So no one thinks, because they don't want to think. People don't want to think that the Patriots could be Super Bowl champs. He did. Had to be donated because livers are donated by people who die accidentally. But that's beforehand, and it goes into the system. But you have to have somebody giving you a direct gift, I think. Yeah, that's what happens to some people when they get older. Especially if you have a disease, you can't eat anything. My wife's diet changed a lot when my wife had surgery recently. About 3 weeks ago, 2.5, almost, what's today, Wednesday? 2.5 weeks ago, she's been eating differently. So it's making her look different. It's a struggle. So thank you for chatting, guys. Don't be afraid to stick a chat in here. If you're watching, don't be afraid to chat and answer the trivia question. I haven't looked at that. Hold on, guys. Yeah, he played for the Browns. So I got a clip from Cleveland local news network in Cleveland, and they're all about the famous Bernie Kosar. I think he was a Heisman Trophy winner in college football. It's hard to remember that far back, but because I don't make a big deal out of that. But he was an okay quarterback. The Browns never went all the way. When they moved to Baltimore, they since got 2 titles. So the Browns never should have kept their franchise name there. They should have started new, the Cleveland Chronicles or something, the Cleveland Crusaders or whatever. But it's not politically correct to call yourself a Crusader, because the Crusades they existed to squash the Muslims or the Islam. And that political correctness needs to go away, or else the end will come. If you want it and you get your way, the end will come. It's already been written. I don't want to touch that anymore. I'm going to stay away from that. I already know what's going to happen. It's not good, guys. It's not good. If you think it's good, you need to find out. You're not doing your homework. All right, so how are you in the U.S.? I got to go look at the... No, don't give me that. 9 votes. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to vote and hit that like and subscribe button. Give me a couple of seconds. I'm just gonna. Thank you anyway. Whatever you're doing, guys. Thank you so much. I'll be right. Not going anywhere, but I just want to see. Oh, now TubeBuddy comes active. Oh, not bad. Not too bad. We need a few more. What are we gonna do? We keep hitting a new peak for viewers. Thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone, for coming in anyway. Whatever it is. Thank you. We're at our peak now. Peak is 19. Can we get 20? See, the original Browns moved to Baltimore, but Cleveland kept the franchise history and the name, and they should not have done that because it's not a great history. There's a new era. It's called the Super Bowl era. The Browns have done nothing in the Super Bowl era. They should have let the name go. That's old. They should have been defunct. See, the Rams and the Pats are the two best. Yeah, so are the Rams 9-2 also? What I want to say about that is, in the Super Bowl era, tell me if I'm wrong, New England has the best record in the Super Bowl era, and they weren't good. They had a couple of playoffs in the 70s and 80s, but more years than not, they weren't good. Oh, 10-2. Yeah, I'm losing track. It's good. So it's 12 games are in the books. Now everyone thinks, okay, so one guy is going to miss a few weeks, so we're screwed. No, they got to figure it out. You got to win when the going is good. There's no guarantee that the whole team is going to be good. It's likely, but not a guarantee that everyone thinks, oh, it's Josh Allen's turn to win a Super Bowl. No, it isn't. It's Dan Marino's turn to win a Super Bowl. Dan Marino never won a Super Bowl. Probably the greatest quarterback of my younger years. There was no one close. Everyone thought when Dolphins went up against the 49ers, all my money was on the Dolphins. Not only because of Marino, but I thought the Dolphins could beat San Francisco with defense and coaching. Yeah, stats. So you got to be careful with. It's not all about stats. I noticed there's a lot of people doing videos about the results and the predictions and the weekly happenings in football, and they all seem to be under 35 or even under 30. And then they're very knowledgeable. They're directly into stats and all this stuff, and they follow the draft and free agency, so they know all the guys. On the one thing they don't know yet, or they screw it up, is teams are not the sum of their parts. They always said New England's not going to win the Super Bowl this year, and sure enough, New England would win. And I went, the Patriots aren't that good. Tom Brady's not that good. Peyton Manning's better, or whatever. But because teams are not the sum of their parts. Zing TV, that's what I'm talking about. Zing, hey, what's going on? Tell me where you're from. What country are you from? And answer that poll if you would. I appreciate stuff like that, guys. I don't put polls out there very often. I just want to know what's going on. So let's see if we can. Oh, on the wrong side. Zing TV. Where's Zing? We're almost at 300 views. This is so awesome, guys. Oh, it's only been 53 minutes, so thank you so much. Stafford, yeah, they won one. So a few years ago, who did they beat? The Eagles? I forget who they beat. I don't remember that game. I don't know much about it. Didn't Aaron Donald retire after that? So he went on a winner, right? Isn't that true? I don't know. But football is peaking right now, so we might as well talk about it. If you have any comments, go ahead. It's nice. You can put out a stat and be correct, but it doesn't mean everything. Look at the 2001 Super Bowl played in February of 2002. The Super Bowl is always in the beginning of the next year. And the greatest show on turf did not win the Super Bowl that year. We're averaging 28 points a game, or 30 or 31 or whatever it was. It doesn't work that way. You get a coach like Belichick scheming, here's how we're going to stop them and approach them with our offense. We're going to play it close to the vest, which is what Brady did. Brady was a close to the vest. Make no mistake, don't have negative plays, stuff like that. I remember Madden saying, I wouldn't do this if I were them. I would take a knee, go into the locker room, talk it over, and play for overtime. And then when they got the ball into field goal range, that's the way a Super Bowl should be played. I kind of like what they're doing now. This is the way a Super Bowl should be played. And it was all over with the field goal and the confetti. That doesn't mean they're going to win it again, but it doesn't mean they're not. The team with the cute quarterback and the unstoppable wide receivers, they don't always do it. They don't always get it. It's Josh Allen's turn. It's the names aren't popping into my head right away. Lamar Jackson. I'm not a sports talk guy, but every once in a while I like to watch football. It's Lamar Jackson's turn to win. Him and Josh, they have to get to the title game against each other, and then only one can go. But at least we got one of our two guys. That's what everyone thinks, because you don't know. It doesn't work that way. Teams are not the sum of their parts. Now, Baltimore and Buffalo have had tough seasons, but a different kind of tough happened to Baltimore. Now, our guys are coming back. That doesn't mean anything. They might not be in late season form. They didn't look that good Sunday. Yeah, but that's not good news. When you're injured for most of the season, that's not good news. Hamstring injury. I knew a guy that was drafted by New England. I worked with him. He was a good friend of mine. He played on my softball team with the injury. I know what injury he had. He had talent and he was strong. He led the team in home runs. He was a running back. His name was Paul Lewis. You can look it up. He was drafted by New England, but he was put on injured reserve right after the preseason. He had an injury, but he re-injured it against Washington in the preseason. When you suck without your quarterback, that's a problem. That means you suck. You can't just put Tom Brady in they didn't plug him into the Raiders lineup. They plugged him into a lineup that was ready to go. They had twin wide receivers, they had twin tight ends, they had cornerbacks, they had it all. They just didn't have the quarterback with the head ready to go. That head was developed by Bill Belichick. It wasn't all Tom Brady. I'll tell you that right now. The top draft pick goes to the worst team. And when those worst teams have lousy coaching staffs, those quarterbacks fail. I'm trying to think of names that have gone by. Russell, what was Russell's name? What was his full name? He was picked around 2008, 2010, somewhere around there. By the Raiders. He picked the first overall pick by the Raiders in the late 2000s. It would have been 2009 or 8, somewhere around there. Jamal Russell, something like that. The Raiders were unable to develop him, and he was out. And he was an asshole. People don't realize the coaching staffs make a difference. Drake May wasn't that good last year because Gerard Mayo had a lousy staff, and his staff was better than him. He was a problem. He didn't know what he was doing. And the insiders don't know what they're talking about either because they're too close. They think, I'm an insider because I've been in the locker room. There's a lot of guys like that. I've been in the locker room, and I've been in the media room where I get to ask questions. So when they pick me, so I'm an insider. You better listen to me. It doesn't work that way. None of you picked the Patriots to win any games. Well, they might go 8-9. That's a good year. I'll take that. That's what they're going to do. They're going to go 8-9. It's unbelievable. What did I say? Marcus Russell? Yeah, Jamarcus Russell. Yeah. So he failed. A lot of the blame has to go on the Raiders for that. Because no one's looking at, everyone's thinking, when I say Mike Vrabel, you say, okay, he played linebacker for the Patriots, and then he was a coach for the Titans, and they fired him because he had a losing season. That's all you know. Mike Vrabel treats every player. He treats player 43 like his sons. He stands outside the locker room after a game and congratulates all 53 guys for their effort every game. The guys that play a few snaps on special teams, they get hugged and congratulated for their effort. He said, if you're not in the starting lineup and all you do is contribute on special teams or whatever, you got to be ready for your chance because it's coming. Your chance is coming, and I want you to succeed. Well, see, he wasn't the worst quarterback when they picked him. They picked him number 1 overall. So he was doing something well. So they are to blame for his failure. And the same thing would have happened to Brady if somebody else picked him. That's why they didn't pick him. Yes, I know all that. I know Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell were failures. But part of the blame goes to, that's why Eli didn't want to go to San Diego. I think it was San Diego. He wanted to go where he could succeed. They had Tom Coughlin. I think it was Coughlin. Even if they're not doing that well, he knows the coach knows something. Tom Coughlin developed, I believe, Doug Flutie, 5'9", and he had success. He's the last guy to make a drop kick. He's not even a punter or a kicker. Yeah, but you got to motivate. Coaching staffs have to motivate these guys. They didn't do that. The Raiders are not the best thing every year since sliced bread. Look at this year. I bet you thought they were going to be great because they had pieces. You know, they brought in a cool journeyman quarterback and success. You know, they picked their guy at running back. They have the edge rusher, fantastic, and the running back. Hey, we get the pieces. We got a nice couple of receivers, and then it didn't happen. The biggest surprise to me was head coach Pete Carroll. You're not listening to me, or either that or you're not telling me that you're listening to me. But coaching, and it's not just the head coach, it's who does he have in place to help me run this team. That's why the Patriots got bad under Belichick, because all his assistants disappeared. And then you think, well, I'll do it myself because I've learned a lot. Head coaches learn as they go too. So he thought, well, there's nobody else I want next to me. So Belichick said, there's nobody that deserves to be promoted, so I won't do it. They didn't promote Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator, until they were in the Super Bowl. And he was making the call that, he's making the defensive calls, but he's not the coordinator. So they would do that a lot because he was hesitant to put people in power. Because the other thing is, if I don't name him coordinator, they can't steal him. If I name him coordinator, then the Chicago Bears can take my offensive coordinator, and then I don't have him. That's what's happening to the Lions. And then they also lost their defensive coordinator, but he never worked a regular season game for the Patriots either, because he's got I don't know if it's prostate cancer or something like that. It's bad news. Terrell, I think it's Terrell something. Terrell Jackson. I forget his full name. So all the names are escaping me right now. But see, the reason you're naming Ryan Leaf and Jamarcus Russell is because they were picked number 1. But there's a lot of guys, picked number 10 or 12 or early in the second round or whatever, that they were busts too. The Lions are 74th, so they have to worry about making the playoffs. They're not in the thing is, the teams that are 7-4 and 8-3, it's not just the quarterback. The Lions are going to go nowhere with Goff. He's not going to do it alone. It won't happen. Ask Dan Campbell. If they don't make stops and run the football, Jared Goff's not going to. Even Tom Brady, if the team's not at the top of their game in all phases, Tom Brady's not going to win the Super Bowl. They've proven that. Against the Giants, their defense wasn't good enough. It's not because Brady sucked. Oh, he sucked that year. Eli Manning was better. Eli Manning wasn't better. He had a worse year than Tom Brady. Tom Brady was actually good those years. But I hope I'm not talking too fast. Sometimes I have steady thoughts, but I'm going too fast. The faster you talk, the better your thoughts are. People look at New England and say, they're not good enough. They're not ready. How long have you been watching? New England was great in 07. They didn't win the last game. They were fucking 18-0. And they didn't win the last game. And that game went down to the wire. That Super Bowl went down to the wire. My first wife was watching the game with me. She didn't say a word for 3 hours. And I looked at her and went, "You're still watching? Are you enjoying this?" She's like, "This is gut-wrenching." I went, "Wow, I didn't even know you were interested in football. I had no idea. This is gut-wrenching." Because a few years earlier, I told her, and I watched a few games, at least one game every Sunday. And she goes, "I don't know what's going on. They're just banging into each other." And I went, "Okay, here's what you do." And I pointed to the TV and I went, "That's the left tackle. Now, they're not going to run to the left. He's not going to step forward and bang anybody. He's going to step backwards and make sure no one gets by him. Maybe take 1 or 2 steps back. And he's going to put his hands up and make sure no one gets to Brady." It was the Patriots left tackle. Then the play went to the right, and there was no contact on the left tackle. And she went, she goes, "I can't believe that. Just by looking at one guy, I can follow what's going on." I said, "Yeah, but you also have to know where the ball's going." So it's hard to watch football unless you focus in on what you think is going to happen. So if you pick a starting point, it can work. You can see it better. So yeah, I can't remember if that was a pass play or a running play. It was probably a pass play, especially if you swing it out to the right, and then there's like absolutely no collision with the left tackle. So what else have we got? But and Mike Vrabel is telling his team, "We haven't won anything yet." It's nice to be 10-2. Is it? I'm not looking at the standing. I wasn't going to talk football today. All right, here we go. Yeah. It is. It's happening so fast. Ooh. We're pushing for 400 now on the views. Thank you guys for stepping in. Hope it's interesting. The live viewers has been a steady number for a while, so I don't know. I not know. Yep, it's the concurrent right now. High of 19. It's 12 right now. Thank you guys for stopping in. Thank you so much. All right, I'm not going to make too much of a big deal out of that, but it's a good stream. Maybe we'll go Wednesdays we started at a little bit after 10 a.m. here, so it's 9 p.m. in the U. That's not a bad time to start, right? 9 p.m. Maybe go even a little bit earlier next week. Maybe try going at 9. It'll be 8. It'll be 8 o'clock in the east, 7, 6, 5, or it'll be p.m. So yeah, we can get all the way across America and Canada if we go a little earlier. But it's okay. Drake May is a pretty good quarterback. When you watch week to week and you watch everything and you analyze it, the numbers jump out. So if you're a stats guy, he's got the highest completion percentage in the league after 12 weeks, after 12 games. And he's got this, I forget all the stats, but he's up there in the stats that count. But touchdowns, I think. Well, he's a little bit up there in touchdowns and what else? What's the other stat? I don't know. Yards. But consistency is the key. Avoiding negative plays. Don't throw interceptions, things like that. If you're in trouble, throw it away or, take the sack if you have to. I watched the Raiders, and Geno Smith was taking the sack by going down. I didn't understand that. The interceptions came early. There was a lot in one game. So I'm forgetting the details, but they should have won one or two of the two losses they should have won. But you can't say that. You are what your record says you are. Because it's not just the quarterback, it's also the team. So the team played well against Pittsburgh, but May made mistakes. But there was also a lot of penalties that I think the league was putting the test on the Patriots. So when you say there's an easy schedule, it's not exactly accurate. Because they call penalties on you when that happens. Michael Mark Baez, what did I say? You gotta ask, I forget what I said. I said a lot. You got to do something. Why is the offensive line terrible? They had the offseason to fix that. New England has to fix it too because they've got guys out. What did I say about what? You have to tell me what I was talking about, like the subject matter. And then I'll be able to tell you what I said. Repeat the subject. What was the subject? And I'll say it one more time. Drake May. It's not just the quarterback. It's like Tom Brady. They didn't win it in 2019. I don't know if it was Brady's fault. A lot of those sacks was Geno Smith's fault. He just decided to go take a knee like several times. I thought he could have thrown it away a couple of times. So I don't know what was. Maybe he was tired. He didn't want to get hit. I'm not sure. But if that's the case, he's done for the season. I think he might have been beat, like hurt. Like when you take a sack, you could be like roughed up, and then you're on to the next play. And then when the play breaks down, it's like, no, I'll just take a sack here. I thought he could have but we're assuming that they're like ready and rested on every play. That's not true. Not every guy is ready to go hard on every play. I had a guy said to me, Jay, they're all in top physical shape. You don't know what you're talking about. Why do you say that? If the team is better in the fourth quarter than every other team, there's a reason for that. and it's coaching. I don't know what happened to Pete Carroll. I'm kind of shocked that a Pete Carroll team could be this bad. What happened to him? He's always had a decent team, like very decent. Seattle contended every season, even the first year. They contended. Well, they played better than we thought, except this year. So, if the reason for Genty's ordinary performance is the offensive line, why did everyone think Genty was just going to come in and make everything better all by himself? It doesn't work that way. I remember the Patriots brought in a top running back. They got him from New York. I think his name was Freeman McNeil. He's one of the greater running backs. You got to blame it on somebody, right? So, anyway, he couldn't get any yardage because that year the Patriots didn't have a good offensive line. And they also didn't have, there's things the other running back and tight ends can do, and the scheme can do, to make it easier for the offensive line. You can bring a tight end over the left tackle, stuff like that. You can bring in a fullback instead of a halfback to block. You can bring in bodies to do things. I was a smaller guy. I'm only 5'9", but I could line up against the guy 6 feet, 6'1", and get him blocked. Even as a receiver, they could swing me over, stop there like the halfback, and then whoever comes free, I could chip him. He ain't getting the quarterback. It didn't matter. I knew how to block and tackle. So, but I didn't consider myself a lineman. I considered myself a playmaker. But everyone has to help block and tackle. When you have a passing game, you have 5 eligible receivers, not including the quarterback. Now, if you give the ball to an eligible receiver, then the quarterback becomes a receiver, but then the receiver is the quarterback. So there's still only 5 eligible receivers. 6 guys can touch the ball without a fumble. So, or an interception. Well, the offense doesn't make interceptions. So you have to have guys doing everything. That's what makes you win. They didn't look good on offense, so I don't know about the way you fire a coordinator. It's week 12. Why would you fire a coordinator? To give somebody some practice? Yeah. Yeah, and he brought a good reputation with him, so that's why everyone thought the Raiders would be a better team. Because you have Pete Carroll, Chip Kelly. But he's working with Geno Smith. Geno Smith was a serviceable fill-in quarterback. He's not Mr. Old World. He's never going to be the MVP. So they have problems. They might, I don't know, how long is Pete Carroll's contract? I don't know if they're going to keep him. They might get rid of him too. They may have told him, yeah, this offense ain't working, get rid of. He may have been told to fire Chip Kelly. The Raiders have a weird ownership. And they also have Tom Brady, who's not calling the shots. Yeah, they made the playoffs because Seattle had a good team, not because Geno Smith carried them on his shoulders. A good quarterback makes a difference, but he doesn't do everything. He doesn't block and tackle. Blocking and tackling wins championships. I don't know why you get a younger, and you're not the younger generation, you're not in your 20s. They're doing a lot of the talking. And they follow the draft, and they know what free agents are coming and going. And they think teams are some of their parts. And that ain't true. Teams, they do a good job analyzing, the stuff. Everything they say is true. But then like John Gruden spends over an hour analyzing two teams in a game. He calls who's going to win. And he spends like an hour and 10 minutes analyzing every phase of both teams. He's putting players in there and what they do well and all this stuff. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. Right? And I mean, he's doing a great job. He knows these teams. Right? And then he'll go, well, Pittsburgh's going to beat New England by 3 because I hated them in that snow game. I didn't like it. They had the benefit of the tuck rule, and they're going to lose today. What does the tuck rule have to do with this year's matchup against the Steelers? Nothing. But he was the coach of the Raiders, and he's this. It's like, why did that even have to be a part of that? That was pathetic. And it was like an hour and 7 minutes I spent watching that video, and then he did that, and I went, okay. The people making calls, they're just doing that, the predictions, they're just doing that based on their favorite teams. Yeah, John Gruden. It's very fascinating to watch. There was nothing he said that was wrong. But then he goes, well, Pittsburgh's going to win by 3 because I hate the talk roll. And, and I was the coach of the Raiders. And that's why I don't like New England. He always picks against New England. But he tells you how good they are. It's like, it's absurd. I can't say they should have brought him in because they've got the right guy. Mike Vrabel is married to the Patriots. It shows every day. The worst part about it, I hate the Boston media. He has to, because he's under contract to show up. They pay him to show up and sit on their morning show. And they're a bunch of buffoons. The media, sports media is a bunch of buffoons. They're the worst people to listen to I don't know why they make predictions. It's pathetic. We're not watching the same football. If the Seahawks had a greater quarterback, I'm going to go back on Geno Smith. If they had a better quarterback, they would have won the Super Bowl. That's what we're talking about. Any quarterback can make a good play. Look at Jacoby Brissett playing for the Cardinals. He's making good throws. Where were the throws on New England? It takes a whole team. It takes a whole team. And then the team makes the quarterback look good, but he also has to stay out of trouble too. So that's where the quarterback comes in. When he knows how to manage trouble, you got a good quarterback. He knows the clock situation, down and distance. Who are we up against? How much time is left in this game? How many timeouts do we have? All those little things on every play. Chiefs Patriots in 2018, the AFC title game. Mahomes was in his second year, I think. And first year starter, and they were fantastic. They had a better record. That's why they were the home team in the conference title game. And the Patriots kept it every situation. It was 3rd and 10. It was like 3 times they had 3rd and 10, and they made the play to Edelman, Gronk, and one was the running back. Tony Romo was calling the game, and he was the commentator, and he went, I smell a run here. It's going to be I forget who the running back was. I'll think of his name in a minute. But sure enough, it was a handoff to the running back, and it was unbelievable. Indiana Jones. Daniel Jones. They're not going all the way, I'll tell you that right now. Kansas City proved that. Indiana Jones. You're not going to win the title. Now, the Eagles won the title with the top running back, but they didn't win it just running the football. And they're not going to win it throwing the football either. I don't see that happening. I don't know everything either. I don't know why Pete Carroll is not succeeding this year. But he put too much trust in Geno Smith. Geno Smith should have been their backup. But he didn't want that. He probably would have retired, I guess, or gone somewhere else. Where do you go? You go to a bad team is where you go. They were saying the Jets are going to bring in, I forget who they were going to bring in, but they're going to bring in another quarterback. It's like, it's not going to work. You got to bring in a new coach. Sometimes you just need the right match of people. But if you don't treat your players like your kids, your family, I love you guys. I remember they did the wired up, the mic'd up in the I think they started the whole thing in 2014. I could be wrong, but they mic'd up Julian Edelman and I think Tom Brady, and they might wired up Pete Carroll, and I forget who the other Raider was that was mic'd up. I don't think it was Richard Sherman, but they did a video, and the video was about 30 or 40 minutes long. It's about half the game. It was a good video. And they were in the huddle. And Brady was like, let's go, guys. This is it. If we win, they'll honor you. They'll honor your children and your grandchildren. They don't honor the losers. And he kept saying that over and over. And Julian Edelman would be breaking the huddle saying, I love you to the linemen. I love you guys. You guys, you're my besties and all this stuff. It was like over and over. I love you guys. I love you guys. We're in this together. It's like, don't let up. Don't let up. And they kept saying that over and over. And they still were surprised that they won. That's a good feeling. When you're not sure if you can win and then you win, that's a fucking great feeling. Oh. I felt it when the Dodgers won. It's like it was their second in a row, and they were still excited like they never won it before. So they didn't expect it. It looked like Toronto was going to take that. So what else do we have? Are we done with YouTube? It's a good video, guys. Yep, almost 500 views. It's an awesome video. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. If you're still here, thank you so much. I can never thank you enough for showing up. They got to show up, Brett, or they won't watch. It's up to me to keep them there, so I hope that worked. I hope it worked. So who's going to win the Super Bowl? You really got to go week to week. You know, you can't just like look ahead. That's what coaches tell players. We're worried about this week. That's, 1 week at a time. That's what you got to do. We're on to Cincinnati. That was fantastic. Yeah, Julian Edelman's a funny character. I watch some of those podcasts. I don't watch them all because they're long, and I've heard him over and over now. So it does get. But him and Gronk are funny. They're funny together, and they're such different size guys. Gronk towers over Edelman. I'm about Edelman's size, so Gronk towers over him. He's like, how does that work? It's hard for me to be best buds with a tall guy. They got to be sitting down. Gronk's pretty smart. He's not stupid. Everyone thinks he's stupid because he likes to clown around. He ain't stupid. Yeah. I've seen it. I've seen their video about 10. I've seen their videos about 10 of them. So every once in a while, if I'm not doing anything, I'll watch. There's a lot to do. I got a video to make. Today's Wednesday. This was a good one, though. I hope you guys come back and look at some of my videos. Thank you so much. The walking tour. I don't talk so much in the walking. There's talking, but not very much. So I do all the talking here on the live stream. I don't need to. When we do the driving videos, there's a little bit of back and forth with my wife, Norma. A little bit. I think it's funny. I enjoy it. But it's not that. I'm not announcing what we're doing. Not too much. I got to make a year-end video, but it's going to be good. It's good. I don't know. What can I do? Probably just, it's going to come from the videos I already have. So it's going to be, my recent months in the Philippines, and then I'm going to do a mix of that. So we'll see how that comes out. When you're an individual channel host, it's very hard to succeed because the big channels have people doing part of the work. They've got a thumbnail guy, they've got an editor, they've got a guy that's writing titles, and he's writing the script on the thumbnail and helping with stuff. But I'm the cameraman. I'm the announcer. I'm the editor. I decide the thumbnails. I make the thumbnails. I decide the titles. Sometimes I change them if I'm not getting views. So it's hard. It's hard. Now, a lot of the big channels have a advertising budget, which helps get views and subscribers come with that. So I don't have a budget for that. So it doesn't all come generically, guys. Gronk is funny. Shannon. I don't like Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson. I like them as men, but I don't like the show. I've watched them maybe 3 or 4 times. Chad Johnson's funny. Shannon Sharp's funny, but sometimes they say something good and sometimes they don't. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have time for them. But I have seen the show. Nightcap, yeah. I don't know, watching them every night. And like, people like to do that. They want to binge watch one person. Like, ChatGPT says that, because I ask it a lot of questions, and it's treating me like family now. It says, keep going. Eventually, people will start noticing your channel. And when they do, they'll watch your video, and then they'll watch another one. And then some might even binge watch your videos. So get ready for that. But to get ready, you have to be ready, and you have to be like moving regularly. Moving regularly, I mean making video on a regular basis, or else they won't come and they won't stick. Viewers don't like, and the algorithm doesn't like it either. If you don't have a plan or a strategy, the algorithm will know that, and they won't suggest you to people. So I need to find a way. That was the hardest thing to do, is like, well, how do I decide what's the best time to post a video? Like, videos every Wednesday, or live stream every Wednesday, video every Thursday or Tuesday, or videos Tuesday and Thursday. I'm not sure what to do. I'm never sure. I'm Mr. On my yearbook in high school, my quotation was undecided. But freshman year, to my guidance counselor, I said photography and broadcasting. So here we are, video guy on YouTube. That's pretty much it. That's both. Yeah. So yeah, I don't dislike Shannon Sharp and Chad Johnson. I just don't know how great this show is. But they're out there getting more views than J Mike for the moment. Let's see. There's the 2 guitars. I haven't played today. Let's get that. Oh, this is how you do it. See, the camera moves. Trying to get the camera to move. Okay, so there we go. I like how that works. So, any more questions, guys? Any more comments? Anything at all? Let's check the channel. Oh, slow down. Has anyone seen an ad? I don't even know if I turned on monetization. Probably not. It's a little late for that. Wait, on ball. I'm lost. I just got lost. Hold on. Oh, yeah. All right. So, no. Someone said no. More than one person said no, they're not liking and subscribing. So, okay. What am I gonna do? What can I say? People don't know what they like. They probably like something that's not even funny, but the audio track is full of giggles, and they like that. Where I have, fake video showing my eyes turn red, they'll like and subscribe to that. Most viewers like stuff that doesn't make sense. Like Marty, my friend Marty, drinking Pepsi mixed with hot sauce, stuff goofy, or pickle juice. It's just goofy stuff. And they like it. They'll subscribe and click like. Prime Rib baked potato, green beans, and apple pie on a Thursday. Wait a minute. It's Wednesday. It's Tuesday night over in Seattle or Northern California. I must have meant to say Tuesday, right? It's Tuesday evening there about 9:30, right? No, 8:30. 7:30. Because there was a time change. When are they going to stop doing the time change in America? When is that 7:40? Okay, because of the time change. Okay, yep. That makes sense. I had to stop and think, do we go back or forward? The 1 hour difference. They went back, right? So okay, so it's 7. Yeah, that makes sense. So Stephen A. Smith made another ass out of himself by saying, he said it twice too, he doubled down. Drake May's a liar. Drake May's a liar. He said it twice and he's screaming. Why does he scream? Because he knows no one's listening, or no one will listen unless he screams. Screamers aren't speaking truth. Screamers are full of shit. Stephen A. Smith is full of shit. It's the reason ESPN sucks, but they think he's the reason they have any viewers. He's full of it. And Drake May said, well, I think they're paid to have an opposite opinion, and then they have to go over the top. He's a liar. I don't even know what show they're on. What makes Stephen A. Smith know if he is a co-host and I hear something, how does he know? Well, everyone knows that. How do you know everyone knows something? That's ridiculous. He's a moron. Oh, he's a total moron. Good eye. That's for my Australian friends. Thanks for coming in, everybody. We're about to say goodbye. Hour and a half. That's good. We're past the 1:30 mark. So nothing else to say here or see or read. I think I'm going to go. Thanks, Brett, for staying to the end. If you stayed this far, thanks for that. See you on next Wednesday, guys. Hopefully I can be ready to go next Wednesday, maybe a little earlier if possible.